Alright guys, today we're going to use what we learned about the place values to compare them. So, place value can be used to compare decimals by lining up the numbers at the decimal. So, if we had 0.17 and we were comparing it to 0.0932. Now instead of saying point, I would like you to get in the habit of using our words. So this would be 17 hundredths. And this would be 932 ten thousandths. See how I had to think through that? 932 ten thousandths. So if I lined these up and at the decimal, whichever one has the biggest number here, look, this number is bigger. Even though there's a 9 here and that's bigger than 1, it's not until the next place, right? A tenth is bigger than 9 hundredths. Alright, because if we were looking at our base 10, one of these tenths would be bigger than just 9 of them, right? Yeah. So we would write 17 hundredths is greater than 932 ten thousandths. So we're going to compare these using symbols. So we have 4.08. So 4 and 8 hundredths compared to 4 and 203 thousandths. So I'm looking at this place value here. When I'm going from left to right. So this is equal. Then we have the decimal. Then we're comparing a 0 to a 2. Well, the 2 is bigger. Okay? We got to move along with the decimal. So if we have 702 thousandths and 2,219 ten thousandths, when we move from here, when we compare those, this is bigger. We move from left to right when we're comparing place values. So 1 and 159 thousandths compared to 1 and 18 hundredths. So here's the same, here's the same. Right next to the decimal on the right is the same, right is the same. But when we get to the 5, the 8 is bigger, so it's going to go this way. All right, one more. I want you to try this last one. What if I was comparing 38 and 952 hundred thousandths to 38 and 316 ten thousandths. So the 38s are the same. So they're the same up to the decimal point. They're both 0 after, and then we're moving one more. This is a 3 and this is a 0. Which one's bigger? Excellent. Then you're going to use the same principle when you are ordering them. So let's do some examples of ordering. So here we compared. Here we're going to order. So if we had 15 hundredths, if we had 8 thousandths, and we have 701 thousandths. So, if we're going from least to greatest, we want the smallest number. So the smallest number here, so we have a 1 next to it, and we have a 0, and we have a 7. Well, this one is the least, right? So we're going to write that one first. Now we're comparing the 1 to the 7. Which one's least? We have a 1. And our final number. Okay. Now if I wanted to do one more from least to greatest, and I had 2 and 9 thousandths, 2 and 48 hundredths, and 2 and 302 ten thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths, yep. So least, looking right next to the decimal, I have 2 zeros, so I have to move over one more. So least is this one. 2. Then here would be this one. These aren't so bad, are they, guys? And the final one. All right, so then I want you to think about them greatest to least a little bit. So if I was ordering these from greatest to least, we're going from, all right, so here is our 3. 7 and 42 thousandths, 7 and 9 hundredths, and 7 and 751 ten thousandths. So we're looking for the greatest. They're all at 7. The next number is 0, and then we're moving one more to the second number. So now we're looking here. So we're writing them from greatest to least this time, so we're going to pick this one because 9 is bigger than the 7 and the 5. So we wrote that here. Then we're going to write this one because that 7 comes next before that 4. And finally our last number, so that they're ordered from greatest to least. Alright, one more I want you to try on your own. 1 and 100th. 1 and 101. 1 and 101 thousandths. Finally, 1 and 11 hundredths. So which one is the biggest? Well, we start on the left. They all have a 1 there. When we move on to the next one after, we have a 0, a 1, and a 1. So now we're down to these two being the greatest. Then we move over one more. This one has a 0 and this one has a 1. So this one's bigger. So we're going to start with this one. And then this one was the next biggest, right? Because it beat out that one. And then finally, the first one. Alright, so that's how we would order from greatest to least. We ordered from least to greatest. And we did some comparing too by looking at those from left to right. Same thing as we would do with whole numbers, right? When a base 10 system, those decimals are a lot nicer to compare and less work than fractions, aren't they? Alright. Have a fabulous Tuesday. Remember, last week of the marking period. Be sure you're getting your things turned in.